So we're in the winners bracket. The losers bracket is at the bottom. Ooh, Gavardia. Wow. Holy shit. What the hell happened? Gavardia is actually out of the tournament 0-2. That's really surprising to me. Gavardia was like one of my favorites to win. He's running basically the same lineup as me, slightly different variations of decks. But Gavardia is also running like Lee Sin plus discard aggro. And I do think it's a good lineup to build. Arguably different versions, you know, there's always arguments there. But I think discard aggro plus Lee Sin is a really solid lineup for this tournament. Shark Gooey was one of the players that beat Gavardia. And as we're running the same lineup, that's a little concerning. Let's go ahead and check out Shark Gooey's lineup. Pretty interesting deck. I'm a really big fan of this archetype. I've played a very, very similar deck to this. My version wasn't running Risen Mists. Relentless Pursuit can kind of like double up on the like per turn effects. So like imagine this. On turn like 5, we play like Skitterer into double Onlooker, and then we attack with them, and then we Relentless Pursuit and attack again. And that can actually just kill opponents that don't have an answer, right? That's like really, really crazy. Because Relentless Pursuit can double down on the per turn effects of Stygian Onlooker plus stuff like Skitterer, right? It's a fearsome deck. That's how this deck plays. This is just fearsome aggro. It's running 2 pursuits, and it's not running any... My version was also running 1 or 2 copies of Ranger's Resolve to beat Make It Rain and Twisted Fate. But he's not, and he's going to go rewarded for it because, I mean, I don't have, you know, I don't have Bilgewater in this lineup. And his second deck is a Lee Mirror Match. Let's go ahead and pull this up. It looks like he's running like the most standard version right now. This is Teal Red's version of the deck, I think. Card for card, he might have changed 1 or 2 cards. And this is kind of like the most standard version, I think, in this tournament. A lot of people are running like... Basically, what distinguishes this from other versions is that it's using, you know, Lunari Diana. But most importantly, it's using Horns of the Dragon, right? We've seen like Diana Lee Sin decks before, but were other people using Horns of the Dragon in that deck? I don't think Princess Powerful was running Horns of the Dragon. Anyway, this is a very good deck. It is basically, I think it's probably the best version of Lee Sin right now against the current meta. The meta right now is just all mirrors and Bilgewater. And the Lunar Dustbringer ends up being pretty valuable. Diana's good in the mirrors, and it's pretty alright against Bilgewater. Like, any unit that has 2 health is going to be fine. And it's not running Solari, which I like. Horns of the Dragon is kind of like, if you think about it like that, Horns of the Dragon is kind of like the replacement to Solari Priestess. Because instead of like, when you're in the late game and you don't have a Lee, instead of playing Solari and hoping to get written in the stars, which you could only increase the odds of by cutting Diana, which maybe you don't want to do, you instead run Horns of the Dragon, which is like a really bad version of Lee Sin, but if you haven't drawn Lee Sin, it's how you win the game. I think discard should be more favorable against the Lee deck. If he opens Lee first, I get an advantage by starting with discard. Okay, so he opens with the Lee deck, which is what I expected him to do. It's an interesting opening hand. We really just need to go wide. We need more early drops. I think I kick Battlecaster and Jury Rig. Keeping Jinx in this matchup can be pretty important, but she also can just feed to Lee Sin. I think I have to take a pretty aggressive kick here, actually. I think I do need to kick aggressively here. It feels really, really bad if I don't. Let's go deep for Zonite, actually. How deep can we go? I'll keep Fan. It's so risky to not keep Fan. Yeah, and Battlecaster on turn 2 feels pretty bad. Vision makes the hands a bit better.
They forced us to choose death or the brain. Their scent travels on the night air.
So we can trade down Jury if we want. Is it not better to not trade down Jury, though? Man, this is rough. He had the Dream Opener, too. This is going to be a nasty one. It's like this matchup is so snowbally. Like, if he has the perfect opener and I have, like, a really, really rough one, I don't even know if I can come back from this. I was gonna just pass here.
Enter, traveler, and stop staring.
He doesn't have great blocks. He doesn't want to lose like any of his units.
Right
It's got a pretty easy time gemming up. We'd probably have to pre-commit something here. Yeah, I think we have to make Draven big. Make it annoying. Man, this is such a rough hand.
Time for the money.
I think we're losing this first game.
You leave me no recourse.
I don't know. I went for a bit of a slightly riskier opener. Like, for example, keeping Jury Rig and hoping to get, like, Zonite Jury. Jury can definitely brick out in some hands.
Celestial power.
I will be heard.
Yeah. This looks like it's already game. Like, I don't think we can beat this opener. This is super, super rough. What has to happen for us to win this game? Revolve's a really good augmented. I mean, we don't even really properly have a way to deal with the Diana. Yeah, we got just completely fucked off of just the opening hands. There's really there's literally nothing we can do to win this game anymore. Because his deck is already winning the late game. GG, go next. Like, killing Mentor here doesn't do anything. We have crowd favorite and augmented in hands.
My beautiful face.
Like, this hand is literally unwinnable, I think. I have no idea what would happen for us to win this game. Because normally when you're behind, you want to, like, you have to assume things are going to go well. You have to assume, like, you have to play towards an out, right? But I can't even, like, imagine winning this game. It could start with just, like, get excited to face here. We do need to draw some kind of swarm card. Crowd favorite's literally bricked out here. Yeah, we're fucked. We're completely screwed. Crowd favorite's a fucking 2-1. Yeah, GG, go next. Pretty much. Like, we can augment it, but that's not really doing too much. Like, even if I'm assuming his hand is as bricked out as it's humanly possible to be, we're still completely screwed. That's how this matchup goes sometimes, though. Let's House Spider. If his hand is like 4 literal blinks, I can imagine this doing something. I mean, this game is actually super over. Holy shit.
Meet destiny.
So it's usually just like a simple pale here.
I'll see this through.
I mean, the Diana's potentially dying to the augmented experimenter anyway, so the get excited might want to go face. We're completely unable to kill Lee. Guiding touch saves Diana. Our win condition has to be basically a bizarre sequence of events where we outgrind with like double augmented, maybe. Like he's fairly awkward next turn. I mean, so we've super lost this game, but let's, you know, obviously we're assuming we haven't lost yet. In a play like this, he can basically just Zenith Blade and chill. That's pretty much all he can do. So we can augment it here. This augmented does literally nothing. We don't need the mana for augmented anyway. If he attacks into us, we're getting a good one. We can pass. Again, I think we... This is so fucking lost. Holy shit. I'll just keep passing. This is you know, I don't like to concede tournament games, but this is the one game I can totally concede.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Cold and unforgiving as moonlight.
GG. So now we have to hope that the Shadow Isles deck on his side ends up bricking him out and losing to our 2 decks, which could easily happen. I don't think it's a bad deck, but it's a bit of a high roll deck, like the discard aggro one, so I think he should be good either way. Just going through the motions here. Alright. Nice.
Immerse yourself in the unknown.
Like Daring Poro Vision. If we hadn't already lost 2 visions, Daring Poro can do a lot in this matchup. I mean, that is true. The only problem is, like, we don't have any of that. Alright, looks like we're dead this turn. And this is a bit of a problem that we have with some decks like this. I think I could have mulliganed in a way that, like, maximized my odds a little bit better. I don't think we can win this matchup without at least, like, a decent opening hand, though. Like, if I mulligan into crowd favorite and augmented experimenter, I'm just gonna feel like shit, really. Even if I kick jury rig, it's definitely not better. Oh well, guess he got us. That's a nice deck. Okay. So now we just have to punish the Shadow Isles deck. Well, you're gonna have to beat it twice in a row with our decks here. Let's try discard versus Shadow Isles first. He's running 1 Islander version. Full mist rates, basically. Here, I'm pulling it up here. Full mist rates, 1 Islander, 3 Nocturnes. It's just like a fearsome... It's fearsome aggro, basically. And he's not running like the Keeper package. He's just like all in on the fearsome stuff. This time... We can do this. We don't have a 1-drop. Kick a little deeper. House Spider, I think, kind of has to be a keep in general for this deck's game plan. I think Augmented actually feels like it might be higher value in this matchup. Get excited. In this kind of hands. Like, we don't have very much aggression. If we had a much more aggressive hands, I could totally kick the Augmented. But he's also a deck that's going to have some defensive tools early on. And he's got, like, Doom Beast to heal. So I think we have to take his deck to a little bit later. So I think we need to keep the Augmented and kick the Get Excited. This is, like, one important play that kind of, like, dictates the rest of the game. Which is, like, which one of those we decide to kick. Because, like, if we're going for the full aggro rushdown, and we have to base this depending on our hand and his matchup. If we're aggro rushdown, then we have to keep Get Excited over Augmented. And if we're just trying to, like, actually kill him at the Augmented stage of the game, then we have to do it in opposite order. He can't punish 1 health stat lines, so House Spider has a pretty free block against the Elise here. Vision would make this hand feel so good. If I had a Vision, I think we're just kind of winning in this position. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm never not point Draven here. Skitter is kind of funny. My Draven still gets an attack in if he Skitters. Like at 1 mana, he can't really stop this Draven from attacking. He knows I've got the axe, so that does feel pretty good. Stops the rest of the attacks. Yeah, there's no reason to do anything weird here. We're gonna get a pretty good crowd favorite into our attack on turn 5, it looks like. And we can do a defensive spinning axe to potentially block the Elise or something, which is kind of nice. Could have a second Skitterer here. He's running 2 Atrocities. That's also something we're really gonna have to watch out for, the 2 Atrocities in his deck. Looks like we've got a good kind of like back-to-back crowd favorite here, though. Like this hand's got a lot better really fast. Drawing the jury rig and then the crowd favorite there felt really good. Interesting. Wow. So he kind of has to kill the Draven here. I can make it so that anything that wants to kill the Draven dies. I do have to pre-commit one of the spinning axes because I want to play crowd favorite here and I want the jury rig to be summoned off of it. The rest of my units aren't really doing anything unless I double spinning axe both of them, in which case Draven's dying for free, which is I think not good.
Waiting for? Time for the money makers. I stand for Noxus. I gotta work with this joker.
And that's the thing about crowd favorite. Crowd favorite leads to like extremely kind of high rolly situations like this. Okay, seems good. If I thought he was gonna attack with these, I guess it makes sense to axe something else. Draven's always dead there though, but it's a trade, so it's fine. Like crowd favorite can feel like in the last game where it's completely worthless and just a brick in our hand, or it can be completely dominating the entire game. He has the other skitterer, so he does make this development feel a little bit worse. But I mean, my crowd favorites are still really fucking, right? Like, if he's gonna use the skitterer for that, it's not something that's gonna concern me that much. I think this is an easy crowd favorite. Kind of has to be. Open attacking here. You know what? It actually is kind of... You could do a weird open attack. And you could even like open attack with chompers. That's so interesting. Are we ever just dead next turn? I think he needs the offensive skitterer to actually go for like a weird lethal combo. So I think just setting up my double crowd favorite is a pretty easy play here. And we still have the spinning axe options. We just don't have like any weird chompers open attack play. That 2 mana could give him like glimpse, but that's about it. Our 2 attack units can get in attacks pretty easily. I don't necessarily want to have to use both axes. It's pretty hard for him to block these 2 attack units. Go full aggro. I mean, he has a fearsome deck. He's not... We don't really need the full board anyway. If he actually blocks like Nocturne to one of these, we can kill it if we're willing to commit the double axe. He doesn't have anything at 2 mana that can stop that. That feels pretty powerful. Like, at best case scenario, he's glimpsing. So yeah, if he blocks a 3 to a 1, I can literally just axe rummage, axe chompers. We don't get the chompers, which kind of sucks, but I think it's totally fine in this case. Like, the fact that he doesn't have anything to punish these 1 health units feels like a vulnerability. So I kill the Nocturne and either the Mistwraith or the Elise here. I don't really have to go aggressive on this at all. At 2 mana, he literally has nothing. He can like draw a lot of cards. Yeah. Why would we play aggressively here? Well, I killed Nocturne and Elise, I think. And then we just like augmented to get our full hand back anyway. It's gotta be Elise here, right? I don't know, he has a Mistwraith deck. But yeah, again, this looks like a commitment, but at 2 mana, his deck has no way to really counter this. His best, like, he can counter my play by glimpsing his Nocturne or Release anyway, and forcing me to waste the axe, but that's not really doing that much. Both of our decks, by the way, these 2 decks are just really high roll aggro decks. Like, these are decks that say, I'm going to win the game automatically if I get a good hand, and I'm going to be shit if I get a bad hand. And so this matchup just came down to me having a good hand, and I think even if he had a better hand, I think this hand would kind of fuck his deck. But if he gets like a really good hand against our Lee Sin deck, then we could definitely be screwed. We'll have to play that one pretty tight. Can't. I mean, there's nothing he can play at 3 mana that would punish me for playing Experimenter before combat. We have a lot of fearsome blockers with this board. And his Relentless Pursuit is bricked out. He's playing like he has a Pursuit in hands. Oh, interesting. Feels like this has a hard time mattering. He needs like some wild Doom Beasts to come back from something like this. I mean, he's not really on tricks. He can like Atrocity my crowd favorite to kill it, but that's about it. There's no AoE.
So many questions. If I fall, so be it. Noxian strength.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it still shouldn't be enough, right? It's like, it's almost, well, I say almost enough. He can, like, he's killing both of them, but he's just dying to the big overwhelm in the process. But yeah, that's why a lot of people like stuff like MFGP. That's why it's more popular than decks like Discard or decks like the Shadow Isles combo. Just because these decks lose a lot to their own hands. And MFGP is much more reliable. So now it's Arlie versus his very aggressive version. And again, this one's really, really opening hand dependent. Having Lee Sin to play early is pretty nice. This is... I don't think we're ever keeping Denied this early. It feels like this is a pretty easy mulligan. I can't really do anything weird here. The one awkwardness in this matchup is like, this Leave version is very teched for the aggro matchup, but something very unfortunate about that is that we are, yeah, we can play this. That's fine. Something very, very unfortunate about that is this is not the aggro matchup we're teched for, right? Like, not at all. Stuff like Eye of the Dragon, like the whole point of his deck is he's running it to beat Lee. He's running it to devalue cards like Eye of the Dragon that like would normally be able to block a lot, but can't anymore. Mountain Goats. Kind of an interesting play here. There's an interesting choice whether we're blocking Elise and trading or blocking the little spider and getting in. I think blocking the spider is always better though. I do really value these gems, especially against like the fearsome game plan. And I'm not doing anything with the 2-1 anyway. The goat will be able to attack into the Elise on the open attack next turn, potentially. And that could really fuck him. We do have Diana, so we can Dusk Petal Diana gem and kill the Elise that way anyway. And at his mana point, he's gonna have 4 mana. He's not really gonna have a great answer to that, right? Frenzied Skitterer is the one thing he can do, of course. Yeah. So Frenzied Skitterer is a little awkward. Passing here, it's a pretty good pass. He'd burn mana that he doesn't have. I think I probably have to pass here. He's the one that doesn't want to burn mana. The thing is, though, he is a bit of a combo deck. He doesn't necessarily mind this mana point, but it's a little too vulnerable to commit to this, I think. Burning his mana just has to be better. We can also play Lee Sin just fine now, right? I mean, you can use Dusk Battle just to be a barrier here. He has no barrier pings, so his entire attack kind of gets pretty ruined if we play Lee Sin. Could also try to do an Eye this turn. I like that a lot less. Yeah, Lee feels good here.
Extend your senses.
I mean, it's Lee Sin! How are we not playing him? So, I mean, if we want a barrier, we can. He just doesn't have... Wow. Whoa.
We could use a bite.
He's getting it in. What? I mean, again, he has no 1 damage pings. So I can just do this and just completely chill, right? He's doing 3 damage? Am I ever upset about 3 damage here? I think I probably go 2-1 into this 1-1. That looks good. That looks free. I mean, we just need to keep our health point high and his board narrow, and we're never really losing to that strategy if we do exactly that. He can't threaten Lee Sin. His best play here is like Glimpse on Elise. So next turn we can just kind of open up with gemming Lee Sin and then get into Eye of the Dragon. We do really want Pale Cascade, or we can like start doing Diana stuff. We want to leave ourselves open to Diana. It's pretty easy to do. We have no reason to gem proactively, really. Lee Sin's at 0 out of 8 still. Pretty slow. We can just mentor here. It's a pretty nice proactive mentor. I'm a little worried about playing mentor here and actually getting like rushed down next turn. I kind of want to leave myself open to playing goat too. Like the way we lose this game is just getting like ass pounded by a really, really crazy combo. Like the fearsome deck can do some really scary things. I need my Lee Sin to have 4 attack so that it's a fearsome blocker through Skitterer. But if he plays Skitterer or Nocturne before the attack, then I can just gem in a response, right? So that's fine too. It looks like he can't really do anything about us just playing Diana here. That looks pretty free. Dusk Petal into Diana. Is that 4 mana? His deck is kind of useless at 4 mana, right?
Conflict is all in the mind.
By the moon's crescent blade.
And he can't ping my Lee Sin's shield off. So I just kill 2 of his units for free here, basically. I mean, he can glimpse and that's about it, right? He can't increase the stats of his units here. So I'm just straight up gemming the mentor.
I'll see this through.
Diana's more important to buff than Lee Sin here.
I will be heard.
Center your
Does it matter which one drags which? Nope. Kinda can't matter. It's good to me. Yeah, the Diana version of this list is very good. Yeah, like all his trades here are gonna just like forced to be awful. Alright, seems good. The most important thing is not like aggressively overcommitting for I. We just want to make sure we have fearsome blockers against the Skitterer and keep his board narrow. Whereas I is like in theory potentially good value, but the way his deck plays, his entire deck devalues I, right? I mean, there's really nothing to do here. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what to be afraid of here. Like the scariest thing his deck can do. It can do some weird open attack stuff. It can do some weird atrocity stuff. Playing Tasty Faithful makes me feel pretty safe. I can Tasty and then I. That leaves me with a total of 4 mana left over for like double gem flexible. I do want to get Barrier on Lee Sin right now. I think I like double gem Lee Sin right now and then just play the Tasty out. Looks good.
I will not hold back.
If I just give him the barrier now, it doesn't get forced out by anything. And the barrier is valuable.
Hello. Hello.
So I still have like I plus. It's probably just I plus bank mana, honestly. Okay, but I've got blockers for everything. I mean, his 3 mana is not going very far here. I can make sure to trade down his board. That might be safer than playing I.
Patience is underrated.
Like if I just keep his board narrow, nothing else matters actually. Lee Sin is actually kicking out next turn. Yeah, I think we just tank the 5. Or, sorry, the 4 in this case. That has to be fine. It's kind of like pointless blocking it. Yeah, I'll just play I then. That's okay. I first. He's not going to force us to need Guiding Touch.
Our enemies would be foolish to underestimate you.
Oh, he doesn't even have an attack. I mean, he can't punish my Lee for losing its barrier this turn. Can he? He can use Relentless Pursuit. That doesn't really count. Alright, you can Pursuit here if you want to. I'll allow it.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
So he doesn't really have too much at slow speed that punishes very much. Most important thing is just allowing the Lee to attack for value this turn, right? So I think it just opens with Zenith on Lee Sin, a couple of gems, Guiding Touch. Has to be the most flexible approach. He needs to atrocity the Lee Sin now. But he can't pop my barrier. If I give Lee Sin barrier, then his atrocity is doing nothing. He has 10 mana. He actually has literally no possible way to pop a barrier. So I can just hush when he atrocities. I think that's fine. There's a call to not Zenith first, but the fact that I can just like hush out an atrocity makes it fine anyway. Hush is kind of a safety card.
I will not hold back.
Okay. So I guess we're just leveling up Lee. I can gem the Dragonling. I start by just guiding touching face, I guess. Yeah, we can start by guiding touching face, and then it's probably just going to be the double gem. I don't think I can need the hush this turn, especially since we're giving the Lee Sin barrier after this action. So now the big thing is just making sure we're not dying to anything weird. I mean, the gem's not really doing that much here. Guiding touch is actually not doing much either. Gemming the eye once does nothing. That was a pointless play. I'm supposed to gem like the salamander, I guess. Like, gemming the eye can get me elusive blocker if I'm using both gems on it. But it's just pretty pointless here. We can make this block threat lethal. I don't know, it kind of feels like he can't win. Like, he doesn't really have a way to deal with Lee Sin. And he didn't nut out on the aggro draw. He needs, like, a crazy, fearsome OTK combo, but I'm at 20 health. But yeah, it was truly to not gem the Dragonling. The gem on the eye was supposed to go to the gem on the Dragonling. That's fascinating. He's deciding if it's safe going to 1 against me. Oh, in this case it is. So we're going up to 20. Does have 2 fearsome attackers. We've got Hush. He needs like, I mean, what does the big Nocturne combo really do here? Okay, Doombeast to heal. Alright. I could have also saved the other gem and then used Guiding Touch to try to like gem the Dragonling when it comes down, I guess. I could see that. I mean, his attack here is no good. I have to assume he's playing one more Skitterer. So I should play the Mountain Goat after he plays the last Skitterer. Attack here is truly no good. So now we play the Goat and assume he doesn't have the last Skitterer. Does he need the last Skitterer to win the game? I mean, we can Goat and Hush, right? I mean, as long as his attacks continue being no good, we're supposed to just chill. And his attack is truly no good here. I have to put him on second Skitterer and just not play Goat yet. Because he has to go through the Diana anyway. We want to make sure our health is outside of atrocity range. That shouldn't be too hard. And if he plays the other Skitterer, then I'll Goat at that point. Just make sure that I'm replacing my fearsome blocker that has Diana, really. Okay, so now we can Goat, and that will bank just enough mana to double Hush as well. What are we double Hushing? Yeah, we can just like use these as trump blockers, I guess. Hush the Dragonling, kill the Doombeast. That's kind of funny. Okay.
Their heart beats quick.
Wait, why is killing the Doombeast do anything at all? We just want to make sure our health is outside of atrocity range, right? So we're just hushing these fearsomes. We're hushing both Mist Wraiths, I guess, and then just blocking them with I and Diana. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then Lee Sin can block something smaller. Okay, great.
The dragon binds us.
I will not hold back.
Okay, I mean, I think 15 health is pretty good here.
What is gained when you return malevolence?
Yeah, we're super good.
I will not hold back. My lands need. Prepare yourself.
Okay, so with that, we advance to the finals. I think I played this series fine. We probably could have optimized our mulligans slightly better in game one, but not. I think it's debatable. And that's about all we could have really done differently. That would have actually felt like it had an impact. We took, in this game, we took up an interesting pass on turn 3, burning his mana and giving myself an opportunity to go for the Diana play. Because if he has Skitterer, we had a turn 3 board state where I couldn't have gone for Diana onto Elise unless he spent his mana first. I think that's a good kind of pass. Like, his deck is definitely the aggressor there, and he doesn't really like burning that mana. So I'm sure, like, whenever you open pass, it looks kind of weird, but it's usually very, very important.